welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lily. I'm the person behind Crafts and Crumbs. On this channel, we do everything that has to do with knitting, crafting, baking, reading, studying. I'm an OT student, my second year at university, so there's a bunch of content about occupational therapy and positive thinking and ways to think about life in general. So if that sounds like something you're interested, like and subscribe and join us. So in today's video, we're going to be finishing my Marielle blouse that I've been working on for a very long time. Just because of school and work and life, I haven't had a ton of time to work on my Marielle blouse, but the vlogs have been helping me and I've been making a big push towards the end. I have half a sleeve left, so this week is the week, even though I have two big exams, I am planning to finish the sweater. So let's finish it together. Just a general update on where I am. So this is where I am. I have most of the sweater. I finished the first sleeve. It looks so good. I'm really excited. And I'm about halfway on the second sleeve. So I do 7 motifs. I did 7 on the first sleeve, so I'm going to do 7 on the second. And I am past the 4th one. So I'm almost at the 5th one already. So I should really be able to finish it this week. Block it. We'll do a mini podcast about it at the end once I'm wearing it and it's all ready. So join along and let's finish the sleeve together. I just finished the 5th motif, so that's pretty good progress considering the fact that it's only Saturday. My goal is to finish the sweater by the end of the week, like by Thursday, and have it after blocking fully dried, ready to wear, everything that goes with it. So I have 2 more motifs left, and then I have about 2 or 3 centimeters for the ribbing, and that's it. So I really should be finishing in the next few days, so I'll check back in when I finish the 6th motif. So I am almost done with the 6th motif, so very exciting. I am going much faster than I thought. I have a bunch of time today before my exam, so I will definitely be knitting a bunch, finish the 6th motif and start the 7th probably. And other than that, I am wearing a self-drafted sweater that I made for my boyfriend that ended up being huge, so I wear it a lot of the time as my morning sweater. And I've been thinking about what I'm going to be knitting next, but I've also been thinking regardless of just some fancier yarns that I've been seeing online. So I've never knit with Issachar yarn, and I really want to. It looks really, really nice. This sweater that I'm making now, we'll talk about it at the end of the video, but it's made with Knitting for Olive. So it's my first time knitting with Knitting for Olive. So I'll share more about my experience with that towards the end of the video once I finish the sweater. I really want to kind of keep trying these fancier yarns. So I think Issachar yarn is next on my list. And I have seen a bunch of people knitting with Cardiff cashmere, which looks heavenly. I really want to try it at some point. It is quite expensive, but I looked at some of the resellers and the prices, and it isn't as crazy as I thought it would be. A sweater quantity would be around like $125, something like that. So I don't think that that's that bad. Definitely more than I would usually spend, but that would be like a birthday sweater or something. I'm thinking about that also and what I would kind of like to knit with that. Simple all around cable or something, but not like just the same kind of cable all throughout the sweater. So if you have sweater pattern ideas, send them my way. And let's keep going with the 6th motif and see where we get to today. All right, here we are, for a sixth motif update. So this is how it's looking. I think it's looking really, really good. For comparison, this is the full sleeve length, so I really am getting close. I have one more motif left and then do the ribbing and I'll be done, which is really exciting. My general concern with the sweater was the length, because when I did my swatch, it bloomed a lot. So I have been making everything a bit shorter to accommodate that. That's why the body looks a little short, at least to me, it feels that way. But I'm assuming that it's gonna block and get much longer. So I was concerned that when I made my sleeve that it was too good lengthwise now. So I was worried that when I blocked it, it would get much longer and be like incredibly long. Looking back, now I'm at the sixth motif. It doesn't make sense for me to stop here. It's way too short. And if I would just do the ribbing from here 2 centimeters, it would be incredibly short. So I am really glad with the length that I did 7 motifs plus the 2 or 3 centimeters of ribbing. And I am going according to the pattern in general. So I am assuming that everything will work out. So that is where we are. I'm loving how it's looking, and I'll check back in when we're done with the 7th motif. I finished the 7th motif. I can't believe I finished it so quickly. It went by so fast. I even had an exam today and somehow I still managed to finish half of the sleeve that I needed within 2 days. So here's how it's looking. It's looking so cute. It's still missing a few rows and then I'm going to do the ribbing, but I finished the full motif, so I don't have any more of the eyelet pattern to do. And I'm going to finish the sleeve like tomorrow for sure. And then I'll block it and then it'll be ready and I'll have my Marielle blouse. I'm so excited. So let's go finish the rest of the sweater. It's perfect. I'm so excited that it's here. This is what it looks like from the front. This is the second sleeve. They both turned out at the exact same length, which is so great. Here's what it looks like from the back. I think it's so cute. As a more monogamous knitter myself, I don't really have the joy of finishing objects so quickly. So it's so satisfying and happy when I get to finish a project, especially such a long one like this sweater. I learned so much during this project. I've never done an eyelet pattern in general, let alone a whole sweater like it. So I learned a lot from it. We'll talk about that a little more later in the video once it's blocked. So this is what it's looking like pre-blocked and pre-weaving in the ends, but forgive me for that. These moments of finishing a sweater and completing a project really make me feel so grateful that I know how to knit and that I even have the skill, because I don't take it for granted and it's not something that everyone knows, and I'm so lucky to have learned it and to have this knowledge and to be able to read a pattern and just start making a sweater out of thin air. Making your own clothes is something really special, especially in today's world. I think especially because so much of everything is clickbait and instant gratification. I think it's so important and special to work on a project like this for a few weeks or a month or 2 months or 3 or however long it takes you, and to get to this moment where you finish the full garment, and to know that I made every single stitch here is really special. So I'm so happy that I know how to do this and I can get to enjoy these moments, and I'm so glad that you guys know how to knit or craft or do whatever it is that you know how to do. It's something really special. So let's go weave in the ends and block the sweater. just blocked the sweater and finished putting it on the towel and everything to dry. And I want to know if anyone else has this experience, as if it's like a terrifying bungee jumping moment. Every time before I put a sweater or a finished garment in my bucket for blocking, I like say a prayer because I'm so scared that it's going to ruin it somehow. I don't know why. There is no reason that it would ruin it. But for some reason, that is always my fear and always my concern. So I would like to know if anyone else has that feeling so I can overcome it, because I don't think that it's very healthy. So if anyone has any tips and tricks for blocking, please let me know. So I now have blocked the sweater, and now we wait until it dries. She's here. She's beautiful. I finished the sweater. I finished it about 2 days ago, and I had it blocked and dry for a while. It's not that warm out, so it took it a few days to dry. It looks so good. It looks so good after blocking. I love it. It really did block out a lot, but not too much. It grew just the right amount. So I thought that we could do a little mini podcast just about this finished object. So I finished my Marielle blouse. It took me about 2.5 months to knit. I didn't exactly track when I started it, but I think it's around 2.5 months. Went by super quickly. The only reason it took me like 2.5 months was because I was in the middle of the semester and I'm reading books simultaneously. So I always have to pick, am I going to read or am I going to knit now? I really, really enjoyed the project. I recommend this pattern so much. I think it's so cute. It's so flattering. I love the look of the open sleeves. I think it's really fun and funky. This is my first time doing a fully eyelet pattern sweater, and I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't expect it to be so easy. I saw a lot of other reviews and people saying that they remembered the pattern and they didn't even have to look at the chart. I was like, what are the chances? Because I usually don't remember the charts fully, but I really did remember it. And towards the end on the sleeves, I didn't even need to look because I knew where I was. I just counted the rows. It's really fun learning a new skill. I really enjoyed the process of figuring out how to do eyelet patterns. I did have to restart this sweater once. I wasn't that far in though. I was a few rows down only on the back. I just started the back yoke, and I got the eyelets really wrong, and I wanted to make sure that I had the right number of stitches and the right pattern before I went any further, because I didn't want a mistake to be like for the whole sweater. So I frogged it and I redid it, and I still have a few mistakes just in the first few eyelet shapes. I kept those ones because it's in the top back around my neck, and I thought that no one would notice it, and I frankly just didn't want to start it again. But you can't tell. I haven't even looked at it once since I finished the sweater. The pattern itself is written really, really clearly. I really think that this is maybe not a beginner pattern, because you do need to know certain skills and this general shaping of a sweater, which is pretty regular, but you still have to get used to it. I started knitting with raglan sweaters, so it took me a while to understand this kind of construction, because I really enjoyed knitting top down all the way through with the sleeves and everything and putting them on hold and then coming back to pick them up. So it took me a minute to get used to this construction. This isn't the first sweater that I made in this, where you do the back yoke and then you do each left shoulder and then you do the front and you connect and then you go in the round and then you go back and pick up for sleeves. But every time I kind of have to get used to it again. It's always just like the way that you learn. So I thought that I could talk a little bit about now also the cost breakdown of the project. I knit this. This is my first time knitting with Knitting for Olive. I've heard so much about it and I really wanted to try it. For some reason, I was always under the impression that it's really expensive, because everyone talks about it like it's a very fancy yarn or it's really good quality, which it definitely is, but I wouldn't say that it's a really expensive, really luxurious yarn. The merino is definitely really good quality, and it is maybe a tad more expensive, but I really didn't have to buy that many balls of yarn. I did end up buying more than I needed. So I knit this with Knitting for Olive and with Drops brushed alpaca silk, and with both of them I ended up buying way more than I needed. I have 2.5 balls left of the merino, which is a ton, and about 5 balls of the brushed alpaca silk. I don't know how that happened. I'm not fully complaining because I can make a cute small project with that, but something in my calculation was wrong. I always in general err on the side of ordering too much, and then I can always use it for something else rather than not having it in the same dye lot and having to order it and ship it again and deal with that whole thing. But I ended up with a lot of extras, so I'm not totally sure how that happened, but not totally complaining about it either. So this whole project ended up costing me about 60 euros, and the pattern was another $5-ish, I think. So all in all, not a very expensive project. And I have to say, Knitting for Olive Like I said, I always thought that it was really fancy and a really luxurious yarn and not that affordable, but it was surprisingly affordable because you really don't need a lot. I didn't order their matching kid silk. I ordered the Drops alpaca silk because I really, really enjoy it. All of my mohair yarns, I always knit with Drops. I actually haven't tried any other ones, so I'm hoping to branch out this year and maybe try some other mohairs and in general some other yarns and see how they are. And they mold really well together. For Olive was much more white and the Drops was much more gray, and together I was going for exactly this color, which was more of an off-white kind of gray, and it really did that really well. The effect of having both of them together looks really good, I think. So all in all, I really recommend this pattern. Really love my outcome, love my sweater. I'm very excited to wear it. Definitely recommend the yarns. I love Drops very, very much. A lot of my yarn is Drops if you've seen my previous videos, and I'm really excited to knit more with Knitting for Olive. I definitely want to try some more of their yarns. They have a lot of very, very warm wool, and I don't live in a very, very cold climate, so I have to be very smart and strategic about which yarns I do and don't use, but this I feel is appropriate for our winter. So that wraps up the whole Marielle Blouse project. If you do make the Marielle Blouse, comment down below and send me pictures. I'd love to see your progress. And also, if you have any questions or anything about the pattern, feel free to let me know down below and maybe we can figure it out together. So that concludes this video on finishing my Marielle blouse. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!